If you're at all aware of any D&D news right now, you're probably expecting me to talk about Wizards of the Coast and the open gaming license and the lies. So many lies. And don't get me wrong, that's part of it. That is very much a part of it all. But the story for me goes back a lot further and is a lot deeper than that. So I invented my first role-playing game when I was 7 years old. And I did it because I didn't know there was any such thing already. Nobody in my whole universe played D&D or anything like it. As far as I knew, I was the only one in the world who played games of pure imagination and storytelling and adventure, and I would play with anyone who would give me the time of day. It started very loose and whimsical, but it quickly became pretty formal, with rules and levels and prices for the various powers you could buy. I started as a rather bad game master. I had to discover on my own many of the principles that are obvious now, why a GM shouldn't run a player character in their own game, why having some true randomness outside the GM's control can be more fun than just having the GM decide everything. But I did learn, and I refined my craft, and I taught other people how to do it too. And as I entered adulthood, I'm not exaggerating, I had introduced hundreds of people to role-playing without even knowing that's what it was called. So role-playing and storytelling is in my blood. It's who I am. Try to imagine then what it was like for me to sit down as an adult for my first D&D game. It was actually my wife who introduced me to it. And yes, she is as amazing as she sounds. And it was Pathfinder, technically not D&D. But the important thing was, to me, it was like I had never breathed air before, and I was taking my first breath. There was this whole world that I needed and had never known about, all these people, all these books, all about the thing I loved. Suddenly I wasn't alone anymore, and I inhaled it all. Night after night I stayed up until 2 a.m. looking up feats and spells, finding all the abilities that were never meant to be combined, writing characters and backstories, corresponding ideas with my GM. Good times. Of course, it wasn't long before I was running my own games, and I've had at least 1 or 2 going ever since. And almost more than anything, I have loved introducing new people to these games. Time and again, I have found someone who truly had no interest at all in all that imaginary nerd stuff, and watched the light come on in their eyes as they discovered, as I had, the joy of imagination. So believe me when I say I have a deep love for these games. Leaving was a big fucking deal to me, and while I have a lot of criticisms that come from a place of love and of sadness about what I know these games could be and aren't, the truth is I left a long time ago, and I don't regret it at all, and here's why. Reason the first. Oh my god, character building takes too long. It's like they make it harder than it has to be on purpose. Okay, if anybody has mastered the art of bringing new people into these games, I have. I've done it over and over, and even I think it's impossible. I don't know, maybe it's like a gatekeeping thing, but these games just think it's normal to ask for wild amounts of commitment right off the bat. Oh, you've never played before? Great, let's get started. Oh, you thought we were going to play today? No. This game isn't like every other game in the world where you can just sit down and learn some rules and start having fun. This game has chores, baby! No, the 3 hours you set aside today is all about making a character. Maybe we'll get around to playing, probably not. Don't worry, it's really easy. All you have to do is make 1,000 decisions in a row. You're unfamiliar with the game, so you'll barely know what they mean, but they're all permanent, they all matter a lot, and there's plenty of wrong choices for you to regret later. Oh, over the hundreds of hours I'm going to need from you. Are we having fun yet? And yes, you can just have some pre-built characters for the new players, but then you lose so much of the magic of the game. This game is about imagining anyone you like and becoming them for a while. It's not the same, not even close to pilot a character someone else has made. You might as well play a video game. And I promise there is a middle ground between pre-builds and determining exactly how many crossbow bolts you have in your bag in the first minute you start trying to play. It's just D&D doesn't know about that middle ground. Reason the second. Combat is so boring. Now I can already hear the keys clacking as people type in the comments section. Because yeah, a good DM can do a lot to mitigate this. And a great DM can make combat amazing. And the internet is full of advice on how to speed up combat and how to spice up combat. And there's whole books full of alternate rules for how to make combat more interesting. And do you know why all that stuff exists? Because those DMs and that advice in those books are all working their asses off trying to make up for the fact that the Shore Wizards designed a game where combat is fucking boring. Combat should be the most intense, most high stakes, most interesting part of the game. But you know in your hearts, if there's any part of the game where players are tempted to reach for their phones, it's probably combat. I've been in games where players were literally falling asleep in between their turns, where the DM had to wake up each player on their initiative order. And yeah, that DM should probably have just called it a night, but I know I'm not the only one with stories like that. D&D combat is mostly about waiting for your turn, and that's pretty boring. Reason the third, searching the rules. This one is about D&D specifically. I honestly got spoiled on Pathfinder and PFSRD. Those wizards near the sea are so concerned somebody might read their rules without paying enough first that they make it pretty fucking hard to learn the goddamn game. Honestly, before D&D Beyond came around, it was even more of a nightmare. Sure, physical books work great for some people, but you can't Control F a physical page. And even a PDF kind of sucks if you have a lot of rules that reference other rules and you'd love to be able to quickly hop between them all, but oh dang, they're all in different books. And I guess the futuristic technology of hyperlinks are just too advanced for beach wizards. And yeah, D&D Beyond helped a lot, eventually, years later. But damn if WotC has done nothing but fight them the whole way. It's like they're intentionally trying to make it harder for people to play their game. Listen, wizards with too much sand up your ass, I'm willing to put a lot of money into hobbies I love, but my players, especially my new players, shouldn't have to. And if they can't read the rules whenever they want, they can't play the game as well. And the fact that it took so many years to get to where they mostly can, and it's still pretty clunky, unacceptable. I could go on, but let's just end with the recent drama. If you're not aware of the OGL scandal, the Seaside Wizards tried to use their near monopoly to fuck over everyone who makes D&D content, and then blatantly lied about it in writing to their customers multiple times. They have since apologized and conceded some things, and probably that's enough for a lot of people to forgive them, but honestly, I don't think it should be. The people who told those lies and made those decisions are still in charge, and they haven't so much as acknowledged what they did wrong. And even if they did, they've proven they don't understand or care about the game. They don't understand or care about their customers. They understand and care about making money. That's it. They absolutely can and will find new ways to screw you all in the future. Worse, if you keep giving them your money, you're telling them that they should, that you like it. You're telling them that even after everything that's happened, even when they get caught, there's no consequences. This for them was a swing and a miss, but if you keep paying them, that means they get as many swings as they want. So why shouldn't they try? Why shouldn't they screw the people who come crawling back asking for more even when they get caught? The truth is, the only thing that will keep this shit from happening in the future is if a lot of people leave for good. If D&D didn't have such a monopoly and had to actually compete with other games that are, frankly, just as good or better, they wouldn't have dared pull this shit. And that's the only thing that will keep them from doing it again. Full disclosure, I do still play D&D sometimes, when that's the only system my friends are willing to play. And I am working on a game system of my own. Have been for years, and that obviously does color my opinion on the subject. I really wish I'd had it ready for publish during this shitstorm. It's nearly ready for its public debut, but not close enough. If you like my stuff or you're just done with watching shit, then stay tuned. I bet you'll like it too. Hope to see you around, and until then, toodles.